going on, Gemini? Welcome to your April 2025 weekly reading. Now, this is basically for the first quarter of April, and I'm going to make it from April 1st until the 8th. So I hope you're doing well. We're just going to go ahead and get started here and take a look at this week. Big week astrologically. One of the big transits I feel happening for you, Gemini, is, well, the sun's going to sextile Jupiter, and Jupiter is in your sign. Jupiter's in Gemini. And this sun in Aries is going to make a sextile here. So if anybody has opportunities, optimism, growth, and expansion happening for them this week, it's definitely you. Also, Jupiter does a lot with positivity and luck. So I see that here as well, astrologically, looking at the transits. There's a lot going on. If you just want me to name the transits really quick as I'm pulling your cards, I will. We have Venus conjunct the North Node. It'll be Venus retrograde. That'll be April 2nd. On the 4th, we'll have Saturn sextile Uranus, as well as Mars sextile Uranus, as well as Mars trine Saturn. So the April 4th is a day to where not only can we that's interesting. Not only can we find, maybe there's something about the number 5 or something like that around you or for you that day. Not only can we find innovative ways to break through, but also we can find the innovative way to break through and then also find a long-term plan with it. So that's very interesting. And then we're going to have Sun sextile Jupiter will be on the 6th. Venus will trine Mars as well on the 6th. And then we'll have Venus conjunct Saturn on the 7th. Mercury goes direct on the 7th. Venus sextiles Uranus on the 7th. And Mars trines the North Node on the 8th. There's a lot of transits happening this week. A lot of transits. And I think Mars and Venus are the star players here this week. And you can say Saturn, Uranus as well. This is very interesting. So when it comes to finding better ways in which we can take action, but also ways we can create and establish better relationships with things in our life, whether that's money, resources, our literal relationships, or even finding better ways in which we can enjoy and create. But also all these things really lining up for us in regards to this newer future that we're moving toward as Mars trines the North Node at the end of the week. So just our being able to move toward the ideal future. That North Node being in Pisces is all about establishing and creating a more ideal future for yourself. That's in alignment with you spiritually, your dreams, your visions. Oh yeah, you have major changes here, Gemini. You have the death card here in the outcome, but I don't think it's a bad thing because you have the star card here in the read. So if anything, this would be a letting go of something that you have been just waiting to let go of. You pulled this Vesta card. It says Hearth here. Yeah, Vesta is what you're investing into. What are the things that what are the energies that you're saturating yourself in that are affecting your temple, your spirituality, your spiritual temple, right? The fire in the middle is symbolic of the spirit, right? And the pillars around it are in regards to the support of our own spirit, of our own soul. And also Vesta does in regards to the myth in Greek. I think it's Greek mythology. Yeah, Greek mythology. That it gets lit around spring every year. The fire gets relit. And it's very symbolic of what's going on astrologically. Because if you think about fire, well, what are the fire signs? Aries, right? We're in Aries season. Sun's in Aries. It's the spring. And not only that, Neptune has just come into Aries on March 30th. So spiritually, right? Neptune deals with spirituality. Aries deals with fire and our sense of self, and Aries deals with new beginnings and just new energy in general. So this is just a big spiritual rejuvenation specifically for you with the star card in the future position. Follow the signs and the synchronicities. You're going to see a lot of them this week, Gemini. A lot of them. It's very interesting because in your 12th house is Uranus, and Mars will sextile Uranus this week. Saturn will sextile Uranus as well on the same day, April 4th. So what is the 12th? Well, the 12th is spiritual and metaphysical. And Uranus it does deal with astrology. It deals with things that you can't, these higher systems that you can't fully comprehend. And so with that 12th house combination with Uranus and then the aspects from Mars and Saturn, there's going to be a bunch of spiritual signs this week. Signals and signs and synchronicities. And the King of Swords as your advice here with this moon in your challenge, we'll jump into the tarot here in a moment, is to listen to your intuition. The moon is the gut, your instincts, to listen to your gut and your instincts. But the King of Swords also is having discernment. There's a balance here. It's not to fall into an illusion or a trap either, but to find the balance between listening to your intuition, but not, it's about balancing practicality and spirituality, balancing the practical and the spiritual. But there's going to be a lot of synchronicities and signs here that I see you getting. And I think this King of Swords is saying, no, you're not crazy. The King of Swords is the crown chakra. So it's the connection to the one of all, the universal oneness. And the language and the downloads that come with that they come through synchronicities and symbols. So a lot of you Geminis can be astrologers, or maybe you're into astrology. And so if you're an astrologer, if you're into astrology, trust the astrology this week. But the King of Swords says you already pretty much know the answers here. It's just about just staying concentrated, staying focused. Here we go. You pulled this self-mastery card. It came out here. So I think it's interesting. I see also too something about the chakras being a bigger emphasis, whether you know about the chakras or not, or maybe you're just starting to study them, or whatever the case might be. There's going to be something particularly this week that I see you really wanting to dive more deeper into, or see how something connects here. Gemini, you are a sign that deals with intelligence. So what is intelligence? Well, it's just the ability to be able to put patterns together, to be able to understand and solve things. Right? Because it deals with the intellect. Which the intellect is pattern recognition, right? Decoding information. The understanding of the decoding of information, how things connect. And it does with memory and yeah. I'm gonna pull you one more chakra card here because I feel you pulled this heart chakra card. It says love here. I would follow your heart here as well. One thing that you could be working on, something that you could be mastering, is things that are related to the heart chakra. Literally, maybe it's literally chakra work that you're doing this week, or it can just be things that you're doing that it connects to the heart chakra. Where the heart chakra would be, it could be relationships, but it also is the ability to be able to receive, right? And it deals with cooperation, trust. You can say I feel like your inner child as well, creativity, enjoyment, connection, right? Sun's in your 11th right now. Neptune's coming into your 11th in Aries, right? So 11th house is the bigger connection to things and sort of how you connect. You pulled this stick insect card. It says stillness, awareness, discernment, composure. And that is your advice here. This is what the King of Swords is. It's the ability to be still, have awareness, have discernment, and also to keep your composure. So let's jump into your reading. You pulled the Six of Swords here for the overall energy this week. Yeah, you're going to be moving in new directions here. And I know you may hear that a lot, but the Six of Swords is when you've been through just turbulent energy, or there's been challenges in general that have been just very difficult to deal with. The Six of Swords is when you start to find that groove and you start to find that current that pulls you into more calmer waters and moves you in new directions as well. And you've been doing a lot of work. Two of Pentacles, right? You pulled the self-mastery card. Well, Two of Pentacles isn't necessarily self-mastery, but it does deal with hands-on work. And that's the only way change can happen, right? So I think you've been doing the work that's required to make change here. And although with the Moon card, there's still some things that are unclear with that Moon. The Moon is the archetype of Pisces. Pisces is very much in the mix this week, right? I mean, Venus is retrograding still in Pisces. Mercury's retrograding in Pisces. Mercury and Venus are going to be with the nodes, with Saturn also there, that's in Pisces. So Pisces energy can deal with It's a couple of different things that it can deal with. But I would say that Pisces energy deals with, it's inconclusive. It wants to be able to search more and seek more and not really come to a definite conclusion about anything. It's just the expanding of awareness and how we can always constantly expand our awareness. It's not till the sun comes into Aries or you switch to Aries to where it's like, okay, I have the awareness, I'm defining the way now. Pisces is more so, let's gain the awareness. And so with the moon being in the challenge, it makes a lot of sense that maybe, yeah, there's still some uncertainty because you're still needing to become aware here of certain things. Or just in general, I feel Spirit is saying just to be aware, just in general. The moon card too can be falling into illusions or fanaticism, right? And when you have a lot of energy in Pisces specifically, I mean, Neptune's coming out of Pisces, but, you know, it can be, you know, falling into some type of fanaticism or something like that. So I'll just be aware of that. King of Swords says don't fall for the traps. Really use your spiritual antenna in your third eye here to look through the bullshit. But I would also keep your composure too this week because the moon card can deal with subconscious, unconscious triggers, right? Being triggered by stuff. King of Swords says you're a lot better than that. You got what it takes here to remain composed and be in control. You pulled the star card here in the future, which I like, even with this moon in the challenge. I think this balances out the whole reading. The star card is just this. I'm gonna go into the spiritual meaning, but spiritually, you're transcending here a lot of things. Neptune coming in Aries. Neptune deals with spirituality and transcendence, dissolving of old structures, old boundaries, and with it being in Aries, it's the things that you've, the old identities in which you've identified things with, whether that's yourself or other people or the world, all that's starting to dissolve and change. And so there's this whole new process of transcendence to where you're actually able to gain a higher sense of enlightenment about things or understanding about things, and then also be able to define things in new ways and other things defining itself in new ways. I think that's going to be very renewing and fresh for you because Neptune, that has been in your sign in Pisces over the last 13 years, has been probably one confusing shit show for Geminis. Because Neptune and Pisces did square you. And Neptune is a planet that deals with being disoriented, and it connects strictly to meaning too. It's where you can feel a lack of meaning, a lack of hope, a lack of inspiration, a lack of connection to the divine, just disoriented, going into escapism, right? The star card is like, finally that's done, and you can now feel free from that energy. You have the death card here in the outcome position. I think this could be some type of ego death, but it doesn't feel bad to me. It does feel like it's a good one. And in a way, I think we're all going through an ego death. I don't care who you are. Like the transits say it, like there's some part of yourself that has been dissolving. And I think this is what this death card is. And so there's another special meaning with the death card, that it always doesn't represent the ending. It actually can be literally the sun that's rising again, because you can see the sun in the back coming up of the pillars of the moon. You can see the pillars of the moon in the back, and here's the moon card in your challenge. It's dark with the moon. So the sun, I feel like in your case, in this special rare case, in this rare instant of the reading, the death card is actually the rebirth, and the sun here that's rising here for you. And it's interesting too, because one thing I'm going to see you get here, Gemini, is clarity. You may just think I'm saying this, but there's visually, your reading is speaking to me on deep levels. That the sun represents visibility. The sun sheds light on everything, right? The moon is the opposite. At nighttime, you can hardly see shit. So it's confusion. It's distortions. You don't see the full thing. You see silhouettes. And I think it was your last reading that I did, Gemini. I think I was talking about silhouettes. I'm pretty sure it was Gemini. But when the sun comes up, it's almost as if you're able to see everything that's been in the dark. All the things that you were once blind to before, or maybe ignorant toward before, right? When I say ignorant, it's just like shit you didn't know, but now you can see. You're like, oh shit, that's why it's a big deal, and it changes your perception and your reality in a big way. I think this death card energy plays out all of April, to where there's just these deeper revelations that you're getting and these deeper things that you're seeing. Also, death, the star of the moon, is very connected to the metaphysical, 8th house energy, 12th house energy. What's in your 8th house, Gemini? Capricorn? Well, there's nothing really going on in Capricorn, but it's your 4th house. Virgo. The south node's there. So, okay, yeah, and it's making aspects to the nodes, so it'll be the 12th house, 4th house. And the 8th house is where I feel all of it's kind of really taking place. It's like these deeper spiritual connections, these unseen things that you're being able to see. And this could also be you really getting into psychology, maybe hearing the paranormal, astrology, divination, the occult, if you want to say. All the occult means is hidden information or hidden knowledge. Clarify the 6 of Swords. Pulled the Queen of Cups here for the overall energy. I think this week is definitely you feeling more emotionally comfortable and stable and secure and not feeling like you're all over the place. 6 of Swords, Queen of Cups is just definitely feeling a lot more calmer. There's a better rhythm of emotional comfort and not feeling as if everything's all over the place. Clarify the 2 of Pentacles in your current energy. You have the 2 of Swords here. I think you've been on the fence for a while about making certain decisions, right? Or just things you've been contemplating. But I think with the 2 of Pentacles, it's like you're finally here realizing like it's time here to start making changes. Clarify the Moon for the overall energy. You pulled the 7 of Wands. Yeah, I feel like you may be doubting yourself. The Moon, 7 of Wands is where it's hard to convince ourselves because we're unsure of ourselves. And that could be for good reason. Like you can be unsure of yourself for good reason because maybe you don't have the fucking answers, right? But I think you do actually have the answers. I think this is just a test of courage, right? The Moon, 7 of Wands. 7 of Wands is about conviction and standing up for what it is that you believe in, regardless of fear, the Moon. And the only way to do that is the King of Swords, is to have control over your mind. Because the King of Swords rules the mind, the intellect, right? And having discernment and keeping your composure, even when there's uncertainty. It doesn't feel bad. It almost kind of feels to me it's a very Uranus thing. And Uranus being in your 12th, it can feel like the 12th house energy amplifies things. It can make things feel bigger than what it is. Like fear-wise. And the aspect Saturn, Mars is making to your 12th house, well, Uranus is a planet, it's like this spontaneous urge to go beyond what you have done before, leap outside your comfort zone, enter into new experiences. And so that could be already nerve-wracking itself. And then when you put that in the 12th house, that can just feel like, oh shit. But I think here, by just keeping your composure and looking at the reality, maybe it's not as scary as you think. And I think you'll realize that once you start really, doing what it is here that you've been holding back on. Clarify the Star in the future. You pulled the Judgment here. This is your chance and this is your call here to a bigger purpose that's larger than yourself here. The timing here is all lining up for you, Gemini. And the Star in the Judgment is saying, do not miss your opportunity. That the Judgment literally itself is a reawakening or an awakening, and the Star card is it's not the awakening card, but it is the new age sort of spirituality card. But what that really means is, on another, if you want to just feed off of that, what that means is it's just new forms of consciousness, new forms of awareness, this bigger awakening, this bigger understanding of the one. And you're waking up here. And the Judgment, well, not only are you waking up, you're also discovering a deeper calling and a purpose for yourself. But you have to step into it. And I think that's where the nerve-wracking energy is. Clarify the Death card in the outcome. You have the Emperor here. Yeah. And the Emperor is Aries, and it's your identity. It's your sense of self. So it's the ego too. So it's like an ego death. But it's not only just an ego death. What I feel like is coming to an end is you're claiming your throne. I don't know if you've ever saw, I'm watching Wheel of Time right now, right? It's a show. And the guy's name is Randall Thorpe. Well, he's basically trying to learn how to control the one power. But it's interesting because there's like a prophecy about him, and like he comes with the dawn or whatever. And it's very interesting that the death card is the dawn. But what that means is it's like he now has his identity secure. Like he has gone through the tests and the trials and the tribulations, and now he has his spot on the throne. He's claimed his identity. He's claimed who he is. So I think this is you here stepping into this whole new identity, this whole new purpose here. And the Emperor is you being able to feel grounded and rooted and seated in your power. Clarify the King of Swords is your advice. You pull the Queen of Wands. Yeah, and the Queen of Wands is the heart chakra as well. Like having to follow your heart, allow your heart to guide you, and trust in yourself. You're a lot smarter than you think you are. You have the natural discernment for things, so you'll be able to tell if something's off, or you'll be able to tell when you need to pivot or anything like that. I would trust yourself. Clarify the Four of Cups in the position of something you're unaware of that you need to be aware of. It's the Fool. The Four of Cups and the Fool. It's like not going on the adventure. This is in the hero's journey would be called the refusal of the call in Joseph Campbell's work. To where there's the hero's journey, which is the Fool card, the start of the hero's journey. And the Four of Cups, though, is not taking the opportunity, not going on the initiation. Judgment is Pluto. Pluto is actually the initiator. The macrocosm initiator. So something to be aware of is to leap outside your comfort zone, go on the new experience, open yourself up to the new experience. There's a lot more divine bliss than you think with the Ace of Cups being here. So, deep read, Gemini. So I'm going to leave you reading here. I appreciate you for watching. If you want to book a personal reading with me, I'm definitely here for you. If you need guidance, confirmation, direction, you want to ask me any question, that link will be down below in the description. If you're newer to the channel, I encourage you to subscribe and also hit the thumbs up button. Otherwise than that, Gemini, I'm wishing you the best. And I actually had a lot of fun in your read. I feel like you've probably had the funnest read so far. I've done this over the week. Anyways, I appreciate you, Gemini, and I'll see you later.